A few words about current treatment. As you may well know, that the current treatment for HIV infection and AIDS is focused on a class of drugs called ARV drugs. That stands for antiretroviral drugs. HIV is a retrovirus. So when it was discovered in 1983-84, within just a couple of years, scientists came up with these drugs that they showed would interfere with the replication of the virus. And so they were introduced as treatment, as therapy. But there are problems with these ARV drugs. For one thing, they are highly cytotoxic, harmful to normal cells of the body, different organs. They can cause failure of the liver, the heart, kidney, and other organs, including the bone marrow, which is very vital for the immune system. So if there is damage to the bone marrow, then that is going to further weaken the immune system. And we know very well that ARV drugs do not restore the immune system. They also do not cure AIDS. The only property that they have is an antiviral property, that's all. But we know there is a large background of cytotoxicity in the body. And it's not surprising if it has an antiviral effect. So, because of this toxicity that is there, it can weaken the immune system, and it poses a potential risk for developing other infectious diseases, and among them you have fungal and other opportunistic infection, parasitic infections, tuberculosis, etc. that can arise in this background. So, having pointed out the limitations of this treatment, and those who are aware in the field of the limitations very well know that there is a need for an alternative therapy. There is need for non-toxic nutritional therapy. Why nutritional therapy? Because we know that there are nutritional deficiencies that are there in HIV infection. We also know that malnutrition is the background in which HIV proliferates. In addition, if you look at the scientific reports that are there in the literature, just about over a year and a half ago, a group of researchers who were working in England, they were looking at a large group of patients in Singapore who were put on ARV treatment. And what they found was that in these people, if there was a background of malnutrition at the time of ARV treatment, that the treatment actually lowered the survival of these people compared to those that had an adequate nutritional status, where there was no malnutrition. So this is another compelling reason for that. Additionally, we also know that there is this protein-calorie malnutrition, deficits in macronutrients like proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, mostly protein. This is widespread. And as I mentioned before, there are also specific micronutrient abnormalities, and I'll talk about these micronutrients, what they are, and what type of deficiencies we have. So because of this macro and micronutrient deficiencies, which are common in this condition, it leads to disease progression. That can be understood by any person with any intelligence. Why? Because nutrients are needed for the immune system. So if you have nutritional deficiency, immune deficiency sets in. And once immune deficiency sets in, a person is susceptible to all kinds of infections, opportunistic infections and disease. So there is progression of disease in the background of nutritional deficiency. So when you have such a condition operating, what is really needed is nutritional therapy, nutritional supplementation, in order to counteract the deficiency that is there in this disease. Because such an approach and we'll talk about some results that have been obtained, can be of immense benefit to people who are infected by HIV and AIDS. This slide that I have here lists the type of nutritional deficiencies that occur in people with HIV infection. You see here different classes of nutrients are lowered in this infection. They include the different vitamins. Vitamins A, members of the B complex family, vitamins C and E are down. Also minerals, important trace elements such as selenium and zinc are lowered in HIV infection. Additionally, specific amino acids that are part of proteins, like the amino acid cysteine. Another amino acid that's important for the immune system, glutamine, are also lowered in viral infection. And you have deficiency of an important molecule in the body. It is called glutathione. It's an antioxidant. I'm sure you've heard about that. An antioxidant is a substance in the body that protects you from stress, like oxidative stress. Glutathione is an important antioxidant in the liver, just like vitamin C is an antioxidant in the blood and body fluids of people. Glutathione works within cells, like in the liver. And it is known that there is widespread deficiency of glutathione in HIV-infected and AIDS patients. This has been known for about 25 years, since the 1980s. And so many scientists who know about this have been using approaches to restore glutathione in the body, and thereby to correct this antioxidant deficiency and to boost the immune system so the person can fight infection. This glutathione, which is an antioxidant, is made up of 3 amino acids. The 2 I've already named, cysteine and glutamine, and the third one is glycine. So what that says is that you have these specific deficits of these amino acids that make up glutathione. Now these deficiencies have been reported very early on in infection as well as in AIDS, full-blown AIDS. But what we also know is once AIDS sets in, that there is symptoms of AIDS, like weight loss, fever, diarrhea, then those AIDS symptoms themselves lead to more deficiency of nutrients. There is loss of nutrients. It aggravates the problem. So the disease itself can then contribute to the deficits in nutrients. Nutrients in the body. Why we give so much importance to micronutrients? What are some of their functions? These micronutrients are listed here. When we talk about micronutrients, we are talking about these different vitamins, minerals, trace elements, essential amino acids. And they constitute a class of nutrients that has not been given much importance in modern medicine. Most of the focus of nutrients is on what are called macronutrients, that is proteins, fats, and carbohydrates.